A quorum has been determined, and at 6:01 p.m., the council meeting will now come to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight we have with us from Platte Springs Baptist Church, Reverend Natalie Minor, and if you would please come up to the podium, and she will lead us in our invocation. Thank you very much for being here with us tonight.
Psalms 133:1 says, "Behold how beautiful and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." And that's the prayer tonight. Amen. God, we thank you. We come in the name of Jesus. God, we come to give you honor, glory, and praise. Father, we invoke your presence here tonight. We know that we are not in a sanctuary, but God, we represent you here in the town of South Congaree. And God, as we come together in unity. God, not about our own personal agenda, but God, we come on behalf of the community. We pray right now, God, that as this meeting goes forth, that you will be pleased and that the thing that is to be accomplished will be accomplished. So God, we just thank you for another opportunity just to take care of the things that we need to take care of. And God, if we have committed anything that would hinder this prayer, we ask right now that you would forgive us, you cleanse us from all unrighteousness, and God, that you will set our feet in the right direction. God, we thank you for this opportunity to call upon your name in this place. God, rest upon each and every one of these people that are under the sound of my voice, God. Anoint them afresh to do the work that you have assigned for them to do. God, we give you glory, we give you praise. For us in Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. We have complied with the Freedom of Information Act requirements as per South Carolina state law. And before we get started tonight, I just want to some friendly reminders. First of all, thank you all for being here tonight. We appreciate it. It's good to see people here. We like that. Please check your cell phones and just make sure that your cell phone is on silent. This is a business meeting, and just a friendly reminder, we want to be courteous and respectful to each person here, and not interrupt or talk over anyone. So just housekeeping. Next on our agenda, approval for minutes. We have received the minutes from our August 13, August 20, August 26, August 28th, and September 10th meetings. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I make a motion that we approve those minutes as collective on those dates as presented, please.
So we have a motion to approve the collective minutes that we've all received. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilmember McIver?
Yes.
Councilmember Prosser?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spires?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is old business in regards to the hospitality tax. Put this on the agenda tonight simply, I guess, to make sure everyone is aware that we will be holding stakeholder meetings. I think our part-time town administrator, Mr. Luckadoo, and Ms. Charlton will be facilitating that meeting. And those meetings will be held on Tuesday, September 24, and Tuesday, October 1st. What time will those meetings be? 6 p.m. And also, just so everyone knows, those are not going to be council meetings. That's simply an informational meeting for the businesses that this will pertain to. Does anybody on council have anything they'd like to add to that before we move on? Next is our new business, and we had put out an RFP for a beautification landscaping project to go with our awesome new sign. And
So I had several emails that were going to be dropping by, but only one actually submitted. So I
Okay.
do have one RFP from Countryside Mowing and Maintenance. I'm gonna open that now. Do we have a representative here? I did reach out to them and invite them in case there were questions.
Countryside Mowing and Maintenance?
Yes, ma'am. And they did send a copy for everyone in council. They will not their copy.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
So, Mr. Luckadoo, would you kind of help us in this area as far as, since we've received one bid, should we review this and then possibly discuss it in executive session and then come out and decide if we want to put it back out for bid, or what are your guidance on this?
I think what we could do is just run through the highlights of it. I mean, it isn't, bids are open to the public to come. So I think the highlights of this could be hit in detail, and then it would be up to council to decide, hey, if you want to move forward, which direction you would like to move forward with it, or would you like to extend the RFP process to see if a couple more do want to put in for it. So with that, I can run through it real quick.
That would be great.
This is my first time seeing it as well, so
Okay.
give me just a minute. One was a project overview. Again, this goes back, just for the public that's here, this goes back to the town sign that was done. Right now, it's built on a slant, and it's not sitting flush with the ground. So what we put an RFP out for was really two options. One option was just to bring in some dirt, backfill it, try to smooth it out, make it look like it fits and belongs in that spot. Just throw some sod on top of it and let the grass begin to grow. Or the second option was to come in with some type of maybe block wall that it gets built into the downslope, comes out and gives it a flush look, and then you just backfill dirt within the block area. So that was kind of the two scopes of work, two separate prices were submitted for that. Okay, it looks like for $500 for design and planning. For the standard package, which would just be backfilling with dirt, putting sod on top, the standard package would be $1,500. The premium package, which would include the wall, would be $3,000. Either one of those, $1,500 or $3,000, would include the design and planning cost. There is a bi-weekly maintenance of $1,200 for 9 months. Again, I think that's something we can discuss, because if you go with the premium package and just do a block wall and backfill it with dirt, I don't know where you would really need maintenance services for that scope of work. So the total for standard, just backfilling with dirt and sodding, $3,200. Total for the premium, which would be a block wall and backfilling with dirt, would be $5,700. And that price includes I believe both of those prices include the 9 months of bi-weekly maintenance. So if you didn't think we needed the 9 months of bi-weekly maintenance, you could deduct $1,200 off of each of those prices.
What do you think they're maintaining?
I think if we were going with shrubs or mulch or stuff like that, I think there would be more maintenance cost to it. Because does the current landscaping cut in that area at this time?
They do. The RFP had in there that if they created aesthetics with flowers or the shrubs or the
It would be
bushes, that
maintenance of
it would
that.
be maintained for the remainder of the fiscal year, which is where the 9 months came.
My initial reaction would be, I don't know if the maintenance for 9 months is really going to be required. I wouldn't recommend going with flowers, especially this time of the year. I think you either just backfill it with dirt and put sod on top of it, or you put the block wall and backfill it with dirt. And really, you're not going to see the dirt from the roadway. You're going to see the block, which gives it a flush look, and you're not even going to see what's on top of it.
You could also put gravel.
So I don't know if the maintenance is even really going to be required or necessary. So if you take that off, you're looking at $4,500 to do the block wall and backfill it, or you're looking at $2,000 to just backfill it and put sod on top. So, I think those are very reasonable quotes. I don't think there's anything that stands out as egregious with the quote, so we'll leave it up to you guys.
Gary, how many more people did express interest in this?
I had 2 more emails that expressed interest, which is why I was hoping to have all 3, because if I'm not mistaken, our procurement code asks us to have 3 before we
Well,
proceed.
it asks us to, but
Yeah.
you can't make
Right,
somebody.
you can't get them, you
Yeah.
can't get them, right.
So what would you guys like to do? Do you want to put it back out again, or do you want to discuss this one? Talk to these folks?
I think we should extend it just because this 2,000, I don't think we need a wall. I think we can just put some graded sod if we want to put some trees by it or something, or a bush or 2, but it doesn't need to be high maintenance, anything high maintenance. I'd put it back out for bid.
And just leave the standard, don't do the other portion of the.
Yeah.
So just backfilling and sodding.
And sod.
Well,
And maybe a
No
couple.
irrigation. They've got irrigation on here as a scope of work.
Yeah, we don't need
Well, if you've got plants, you're gonna
Yeah.
have irrigation.
Yeah, but you can put, we talked about, like ponds don't require any irrigation. They're fine and hard in soil that's not watered. So if you put those on each side.
So
But I think we do we not need to talk to the Lexington Medical Center about what we get a okay from them on what we
They
plant or
have
put?
partnered with the town.
Okay,
They're good.
okay,
They're good with what we're doing, yeah, as long as it's from the
Yeah.
town.
okay.
my concern is if we do it without a wall, then we might have problems down the road with washing.
Not with solid.
that would, it would depend on if sod can root at this point and get far enough along in its development. I don't know how much longer we have before grass goes dormant. I'm not sure.
They put sod out all year round.
Yeah,
And new construction, they do it in the winter and they lay sod.
But they also water
Yeah.
it too, but a month, depending.
okay.
But I think the wall is part of the aesthetics of the sign. I think the way it looks to me is just sitting there. And the wall around the base of it was part of the aesthetics for the sign.
I think that's just a personal preference. I mean, you can leave both of them on the RFP if you like, and then we'll still have that option.
Do we want to include maybe 2 palms associated with
I
this? Do we
do.
want to state that in the,
Specifically to hide that post that's on the back with the electric.
okay,
Electrical
so a couple
box.
palms and,
One
And
on
if they
each
could
side.
clean up around it, I think there's an old telephone box that's sitting there. Would that be part of what they do too, to clean it up?
that would probably require some electrical contract work to
I
get
thought
that.
that they took care of that, did they not?
I think the electrical has been cut off, I think it just needs to be removed, but we'll double check that with the sign installation company.
Okay. So what do we say, in another 7 days? Is that what we did before?
We did the 7 days, because that was our minimum that we could put out. We can do 7 days or we can do 14.
What do you guys think?
So,
I think 7. Okay, 14, you good with 7 days?
Yes.
And will you let, Ms. Charlton, will you let Old Countryside
Absolutely,
know that we're not discarding theirs, we're just gonna leave it out for another week?
absolutely.
Thank you.
And if they would like to, they could make adjustments because it is getting raised.
Since we're changing, okay. Awesome. Thank you. And I appreciate the work you did in that too. Thank you. Next on our agenda, introduction of ordinances. We have a first reading tonight for an ordinance amending and replacing section 92.30 of the South Congaree Code of Ordinances regarding the discharging of fireworks. Do I hear a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 2024-07, fireworks, section 92.30, an ordinance amending and replacing section 92.30 of the South Congaree Code of Ordinances regarding the discharge of fireworks?
I'll make a motion to hear the first reading.
So we have a motion to approve the first reading. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
So we have a motion to approve the first reading and a second. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I made some notes that I could share.
Well, do we want to read the whole ordinance?
Yeah, we need to
Okay.
read the ordinance.
Okay, would somebody like to volunteer to read? I feel like I'm at church. Would you like to read? Would you like to pray?
Um,
Okay.
It shall be unlawful for any person or persons to light, fire, ignite, or discharge fireworks within the corporate limits of the town of South Congaree, except as provided in subsection B of this section. For the purposes of this section, fireworks shall mean fireworks as defined by state law, including SC Code Section 2335175 and ICC Class C common fireworks. B, exceptions. All town-sponsored events are exempt from the provisions of the subsection A. This includes pyrotechnic companies hired by the town for such events. All pyrotechnic companies must comply with all applicable federal, state, and local regulations regarding licensing, insurance, and permits. 2, fireworks may be discharged on 4th of July between the hours of 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. unless a drought condition exists and a red flag warning has been issued for the town. 3, fireworks may be discharged between 10 a.m. on December 31st and 1 a.m. on January 1st. 4, fireworks may be discharged in conjunction with a special event, provided that the discharge is authorized by the permit issued by town hall and approved by both the town manager and the police chief. 5, the provisions of this section do not apply to toy cap pistols or toy pistol cap paper caps containing no more than 20 hundredths of a grain of explosive mixture and sparklers. The use and possession of such toy cap pistols, toy pistol caps, and sparklers are permitted at all times. Nothing contained in subsection A, nothing contained in subsection A shall be construed as prohibiting the use of signals necessary for the safe operation of buses, trucks, or trains within the town. D, all fireworks discharged under this provision must be under the direct supervision of a responsible adult. Enforcement and penalties. Any person who uses, fires, shoots, or discharges any fireworks within the corporate limits of the town or fails to comply with the provisions of this section shall be deemed guilty of an infraction for each occurrence of noncompliance. 2, an infraction is punishable by a fine up to the maximum amount allowed by state law. Each occurrence of a violation of this section shall be considered a separate and distinct infraction. A violation of this section is further declared to be a public nuisance. 92.99 penalty. B, fireworks violation of 92.3 et sec shall be punishable by the maximum fine amount allowable by SC Code 142565, or imprisonment for up to 30 days or both. 1985 Code 11-1, 9 to 100 severability. In any provision of this ordinance is found to be, if any provision of this ordinance is found to be unconstitutional, invalid, or otherwise unenforceable by a court of competent jurisdiction, such findings shall not affect the validity of the remaining provisions, which shall continue in full force and effect. The town council of South Congaree hereby declares that it would have enacted this ordinance and each part thereof, irrespective of the fact that any one or more provisions may be declared unconstitutional, invalid, or unenforceable. 92.101, repeal or prior ordinances. All prior ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed and replaced in their entirety. This ordinance supersedes and replaces any and all previous versions or amendments of 92.3 of the South Congaree Code of Ordinances.
Thank you. You smarter now? Is there any discussion?
Yes, I think this limits us to 2 days these aren't everybody's holidays, and with our cultures, our diverse cultures, I believe there's some other events or holidays, we need to add to this. There are special holidays like Juneteenth, that is celebrated. There is Memorial Day. There's even the Chinese New Year, and they celebrate that in school. I believe that there are some other things like gender reveals where now they're shooting those off. And keep in mind, I'm past the age of a fascination with fireworks, but I know that children love fireworks and, birthday celebrations. And I know we could get a permit for events, but I think this is a little strict and maybe either have a time factor where no one's shooting them off at 2. They don't affect me, but I know they affect a lot of people at 2 at night. Some people have a problem with them getting, set off at other times. Here's the other thing that came to mind is just the policing of it. And I have to apologize to you. The other day, I at first thought it was somebody, shooting off fireworks, and I realized they were shooting off a gun, and they were unloading their pistol, so they were obviously target practicing. And without thinking, I contacted Chief Jonas and said, hey, this is going on. It sounds like it's off a pine behind me. Well, we are so close to the county line, and what's going to happen is you're going to have one neighbor that can shoot off fireworks and another neighbor in town can't. And I feel like it's going to be, we're going to tell on each other. We're going to call out our police to police this. And, I felt really bad asking you to go do that. And then, of course, he responded that it was someone in the county, because it sounds scary. So, if someone's shooting off a gun, I can hear it at my house, and I could actually hear it inside my house. So, I felt bad about using those resources for that. I probably should mind my own business when it comes to stuff like that. But I think we need to maybe consider that other cultures and other ethnicities have their own holidays, that we need to take into consideration. That some people don't celebrate the 4th, and when they do, if the 4th lands on a Wednesday or during the week, if you notice, like Lake Murray does their celebrations on like a Saturday. So I kind of think that maybe we should extend this a little bit. I get that we don't want someone maybe shooting fireworks for 2 weeks, but, and they should get a permit. But I think this is a little strict, and maybe we could be, extended or be a little more lenient for some other holidays.
Good points, good points.
Anybody else?
Any
Or-
comment? Councilmember Prosser? Mayor Pro Tem?
I don't have any problem with that. I think the focus of putting this together was New Year's Eve and July the 4th, because that's the major time we hear things. And I think the other times are pretty much at this point non-existent, in other celebrations. I don't hear.
Is it the main thing is the time?
I mean, I think we could do a time thing, and then, so a lot of things we don't realize is the Indian culture, and we have some in our town celebrate a different holiday. So that's what I'm saying, to say that everyone celebrates the 4th, not everybody celebrates the 4th for reasons. And I think we should open it up to consider
I
our
don't
other
understand what you
cultures.
mean by time thing.
The time
Well, I
you
think
have to
that if
stop
we
at
limited
1
the
a.m.
time and said like it stops at a certain time, so someone's not at 2 a.m, having a celebration of fireworks. I think that's the biggest issue. Am I wrong?
I mean, that is addressed.
Right.
That's addressed in
But this is just saying you can only shoot them off 2 times a year, right?
That's the way I read it.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Luckadoo, is that
And I think we're such a small
an easy?
town,
Yeah,
we're still gonna have them shooting off in the
that's an
county.
easy.
Well, there's an ordinance in the county too.
Yeah, but they can shoot them anytime, they just have a time limit.
Obviously,
I think
it's
it's
up to you guys to
Yeah.
decide which direction you want to go.
It's just
It
like-
could be as simple as just amending the ordinance to say fireworks can be allowed any day, 365 days a year, but by 10 o'clock PM,
Right,
it needs to stop, except for maybe January 1st, where we'll extend it to 1 AM,
right.
where you got people waiting on the actual new year to come into play. It could be as simple as that. 365,
Yeah.
364 days a year, it stops at 10 o'clock PM. January 1st stops at 1 AM. I mean,
Let's let him talk and not have a talking back and forth while he's talking.
So- you know, if the goal was to limit it to those days, that's what this ordinance would do. But if we want to just open this back up and not be pretty lenient with it and still allow it at any point, we're just gonna say 10 o'clock PM. I will tell you, I've been in cities where fireworks were an issue and neighbors complained because people just enjoyed shooting fireworks all the time. So I get it from the people who have an issue with fireworks being shot around them while they're trying to sleep. But maybe the 10 o'clock could serve that purpose, but you do have some elderly people, and not just elderly people, some young people that may work shift work that have to get up really early. 10 o'clock could be too late for them. So I don't know, that it's in your hands at this point.
Okay.
You give me the guidance and direction.
So do we want to have a, let's see, do we want to amend our motion? To amend the ordinance?
Or maybe. have more
Councilmember
discussion.
Prosser, do you want to withdraw your motion?
No, because I'll withdraw it because I'm not sure how we would
Okay.
dictate those times, and I understand what you're saying, and that's, I think the intent of this was because people are shooting off fireworks 365 days a year.
Right.
And especially around my house, it goes to 3 o'clock in the morning. They do not stop. And the week of 4th of July and New Year's Day, it never stops.
I can hear you,
Sorry.
but I don't think they can.
Sorry, I don't have much of a voice tonight either, but, anyway, so I will, because I don't really know how to amend this properly, I'm gonna rescind my, motion.
Okay. So that motion has been rescinded. Do I hear a motion?
Madam Mayor, could I make a recommendation?
Sure.
You could just make a motion to table this discussion to receive further, to have further discussion on it. If you wanted to just, don't vote it down and kill it for a year. You can go through rescinding motions and all that stuff, or somebody could just make a motion to table it until such time as further discussion can occur.
Okay.
So.
Do I
I'll
hear a
make
motion?
Sorry. I make a motion that we table it until we can have further discussion and maybe make some changes.
So we have a motion to table the ordinance regarding the fireworks until council has further discussion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second to table the first reading and the amending of the fireworks ordinance. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will call for question. Councilmember McIver,
Yes.
Councilmember Prosser,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spires,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion carries. Next on our agenda are departmental reports, and we will now receive reports from Chief Stephen Jonas and Ronnie Hinkleton, our code enforcement official.
Mayor, Council. Thank you. Briefly, I believe the packet's been included, inclusive of each council member, so there's a packet there. Very briefly, a few transitional housekeeping issues and everything, which are nothing but good news. I've recently contacted myself and my co-chief, Chief Gordon, assistant. I recently contacted Captain Horton, the SLED Midlands Regional Commander, and requested an audit of our department's inventory and everything. source evidence audit that's occurred in the last 22 years since I took over as one evidence custodian. And they completed their evidence. They arrived today and completed their evidence audit several hours ahead of time. They actually allowed, they had actually slated for 2 days, everything. They arrived earlier, left, returned about 1 o'clock, and left at 4 o'clock. And we got 100% rating, complete accountability for everything. They will be submitting an official completed report of 100% grade passing within probably the next several days on DVD. And once I get that, I'll just make it available to anyone who would like to look at it. And lastly, they, in closing, they said that they had actually never seen the evidence room actually fully maintained like that. And I said, well, I had 22 years to, oversee it and monitor it and everything, and I take that very seriously. So that's a nice feather in the hat for housekeeping. And just briefly within the notes and everything, all the fleet vehicles are now assigned with municipal tags. All vehicles are now fully marked as requested. A couple of other things. Recently spoke to the one of the South Region deputies, everything, who oversees the neighborhood watch program. I've been in contact with several citizens in the area, addressing some of the transit problems and everything like that, trying to be more assertive about that, and trying to collate some of that information together. And within probably the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'll be getting some information back from them, and I'll pass that along as it comes together. Some of the target areas that seem to be concerned are the outer areas of the jurisdiction around Dunbar Road, and certainly some of the outer areas around Pine Street. I've been approached about, responded back, like been very positive. So looking forward to kind of getting some more information about that. So we had certainly had been very, very successful with that and getting those contacts to certainly make them aware of what that was. We have every 2 years, SLED, who's the overseer of the NCIC files for South Carolina, they have to do complete compliance of all law enforcement agencies in the state, all municipalities, sheriff's offices, and so forth. And we have our 2-year just annual audit coming up actually in about the next 10 to 12 days. I've already met with them. I said met with them. I've already responded back to them. Very pleasant conversation, and we've already completed the pre-questionnaires and look forward to another 100% passing on that. We've always had 100% passing with both our IT audit section and the on-site audit. So they'll come in and actually take a look at everything, ensure complete compliance of all the thoroughness of all the case files and everything like that that are applicable to persons, articles, stolen property, and anything that would be entered into the state one files, anything like that. So, once that comes together, I'll make sure I pass that along. Make people aware of that. Some of the outer areas to do with our serviceability with equipment. The back storage area, the hood rooms, are completely sanitized and cleaned. Complete line item accountability for all the items is there now. It's looks really good. We've taken a few of the patrol cars that are butcher marked, and they are in there temporarily. And we're making preparations actually later this week to begin some of the recalls, for manufacturer recalls, very minor recalls. And so we're looking forward to getting those taken care of. And we making a reasonable amount of progress with the impound lot also. A lot of that's been collated, and looking forward to getting a lot more letters out of notifications, or contacted several of the finance companies and lien holders and everything, and they're interested in coming and picking these vehicles up, which will allow us to accelerate the process even further. So I'm looking forward to that also. And lastly, had an opportunity to have some very pleasant conversations with our interim town administrator, and he certainly brought some good proposals and guidance about some issues, and certainly very, very very welcome. And we just finished up our annual yearly radar recalibrations, everything which we have to comply with state law about, and 100% passed on that. And we have our yearly letters of calibration that are obviously issued and certified here just for part of the process of both certain legalities and just with the jobs and everything. So, but that, there's just some miscellaneous items I put in the notes They might interest all of you council.
Thank you very much. I'll definitely read that. We just received them tonight, so I haven't had an opportunity to look at that. But
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate that, and
Sure.
thank you so much for your report.
Yeah.
Before you leave though, does anybody have any
Yeah, I'm sorry,
questions,
yes,
council?
absolutely.
Y'all have any questions or anything? Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it
Yeah,
very
you're
much.
welcome,
Thank you
Mayor.
very much.
Thank you, council.
We have Ronnie Hinkleton, who is our code enforcement official. Thank you for being here tonight. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you for the report. We got that too
You're
earlier.
welcome. This is my first time doing this, so bear with me. I have, as far as notices of violation sent, of course, I'm not going to give out any specific addresses, but I know there are several that we definitely need to talk about. But as far as, throughout the neighborhood, with structural cases, as far as premise cases, I wrote 15 this month. And as far as properties that have been resolved or abated by the owner, there were 6. Which is pretty good. If you're writing 15 to 20 per month, that's a fairly decent, resolve number. But definitely want to get that higher. Staying visible in the neighborhood, speaking with a lot of citizens, people that are, receiving notices of violations, as well as people, just outside enjoying, life and their family, kind of make sure to stop by and, just introduce myself and let them know who I am. And everybody's been extremely nice and kind and understanding, even if they don't, understand, why they received a notice of violation. But still yet being respectful and nice, and I appreciate that. And also, just for the community, I know having a full-time, part-time, code enforcement is pretty new, and I and the town are definitely willing to work with people, as far as, when you receive a notice of violation. It's a certain time frame with these notices. You may not get them, you got a 10-day notice. By the time we send out a letter, it may take 5 days to get to you. And sometimes people kind of freak out saying, "I only got 5 days, don't worry, we'll work on it." The main thing is compliance. That's what that's what I strive for and aim for, is compliance. But I will work with you, but, we'll give a reasonable time, so. And of course, anytime I need, the chief or both the chiefs are always, there, and, supporting me going out to properties. And I definitely appreciate that as well. That's about all I have.
Can I
Yes,
request that
yes,
when you're out and you might notice a property that maybe the lawn or the yard is unkept and it might need some maintenance or some service, do you get out and meet the homeowner? I just think if it's an older resident, that we have some groups in our churches, our local churches that have youth and men's groups that are always looking for service projects. And would you try to do that and let us know? I don't know if you guys, I mean, I know of a couple of churches that have groups that do that as service projects. So if you would let us know that, then we can reach out to possibly get them some assistance with that.
okay. Yes, ma'am.
Any comments or any questions for Mr. Hamilton?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And if you just wouldn't mind, we want to invite you into our executive session too, to talk about a couple things.
Of course.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Next on our agenda, public comments. Has anyone signed up tonight, Ms. Charlton,
I
to
do.
make
I have
comment?
3 names.
Okay.
The first one is Miss Jean Wilson.
Okay. Hey, Jean, when you come up to the podium, just state your name so everybody can hear it, and address?
Just me.
Just name's fine. Okay.
Thank you. My name's Jean Wilson. I have just a couple of questions. But first, I want to say thank you for answering the 8 questions that Danny submitted last month. But there were 3 names on there. Yours that answered the questions. It was yours and Kitty's and Dwayne's. Your name was not on there, and Brian's was not. Was there anything that you would add to that or disagree with those questions?
I don't really want to say right now. I mean, I'll submit what I've submitted
Okay,
if that's what,
yes,
I'll submit it.
yeah, that way we would know that everybody had commented.
I think Brian's been under the weather,
Yeah.
so.
So, the second thing, I hate to beat a dead horse here about the executive sessions. I know that it's not convenient for you to go somewhere else for executive sessions, but it is not convenient for the public to sit there in the parking lot waiting for you to come out. The weather is changing, it's gonna be cold, and everybody has to sit in their own cars or stand out there in the cold. So please, really, try and figure another way to do this with the executive session. And I suggested last time, you could go across the driveway there to the office. That office is big enough for you to drag up a chair. I know that it's not convenient. It's not convenient for us either. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Next, I have Mike Hughes. Is it Hughes?
Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Council. First, my name's Mike Hughes. My wife and I, we own property on Main Street here. We own a business since 2009. Okay, most of y'all know it's firework business. We're really the only store in the town. That's why I sort of thought when this came up, when nobody reached out to us to maybe get a little input or find out or what's going on. Secondly, I wear a couple different hats. I'm also president of the South Carolina Fireworks Association. In my role there, we've worked with Richland County in the last 2 years when they wanted to put a 3-day ban on the use of fireworks. That was changed after they tabled the new ordinance, met with myself, the vice president, and also council member that introduced the bill. They changed it to 365 days a year till 10 p.m. Okay, same way with Lexington County. They've worked with us. We go in and they ask certain things. What can we do? What hours? What do you see? What holidays? So I have a few little lists of holidays that are not traditional American holidays. They're used at weddings, gender reveal parties, football parties, home parties, graduation parties, especially during COVID. Chinese New Year, which is January 29th, Diwali, November 1st, Indian festival lights, many Latin and Hispanic and Filipino communities, Christmas Eve. Also, you have a lot of Americans Christmas Day. Juneteenth is now a federal holiday, plus Memorial Day. So there's so many other days that 10, 20 years ago we didn't recognize, you know? So it's a melting pot now, and we've got to think about everybody. So that's it. I wish if you do talk, reach out to me, and maybe we can work together. Okay?
Definitely will. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then I have, looks like, is it Kit Spires?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Kitty said.
Yeah, when Kit was running, everybody thought I was running. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. for being
Appreciate
here.
the opportunity to speak today, and
Let me give you a little information. I'm the lobbyist for the South Carolina Fireworks Association. I work with Mike. Previous to that, I was in the House of Representatives 14 years, but previous to that, I was in your chair. I was town council in Pekin, Mayor Pro Tem. So I know what small towns have, to deal with. And, I'm here to speak about the fireworks issue. We work with the county, like Mike said, and with different agencies and stuff like that. And in all of my roles, whether it be on council or in the state government, I have 3 criterias in determining, what needs to move forward. First of all, if you have an ordinance or law, does it need to be changed? Is there some factors that are causing problems that, like, for example, fireworks? I'm gonna use that for example, that we're talking about. If you have hundreds of complaints about people shooting fireworks, that may be an issue. If you have 1 or 2 people, you may need to see what the problem is with it. And, the first thing, like I said, is do we need to change? Secondly, does what we do, whether it be on council or in state government, violate a law that already exists or a liberty that already exists for people? And that's what we need to consider. And third and finally, is what we're doing causing a hardship to a group of people? Now, fireworks, everybody has opinions about fireworks. I get it everywhere I go. I understand because, I had a dog one time that when the fire trucks would go out, it would howl like a wolf. Now, I didn't go to the fire department and say, well, you can't run your sirens, it's hurting my dog's ears. But, there again, I understood the role that it was. Now, my contention is that if you have a stricter ordinance, the people that are going to suffer are you, council, and law enforcement. Because if somebody shoots a firework off and they get a response, by the time they get there, the people are gone or the fireworks are gone, and it's going to be one word against another. Also, you're going to get calls every time somebody shoots off fireworks. So-and-so shooting off fireworks, So your time is precious and everything. But there again, that's the 3 factors that I consider in dealing with legislation, whether it be in the town or in the state. Also, I want to offer my services. If I can help you in any way at the state level, that's where I deal mainly with positions. Don't hesitate to contact me. And thank you again for letting me speak.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And if you don't
Thank
mind, Mike, will you give us his contact information? Please?
I'll-
Okay,
I'll-
that'd be great. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. We appreciate it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
And Mayor, I hate to leave, we've got a emergency council meeting at church, so I've just got to go.
No, thank y'all for being here. We appreciate it. We really do.
Thank you. Take pictures and then that way.
Okay, or you can just send it to us in an email. Thank you. Next on our agenda, pursuant to South Carolina State Code Section 30-4-70A2, I move that council enter into executive session for the discussion of negotiations incident to proposed contractual arrangements with GMK, proposed purchase of property, and code enforcement matters. And also, we would like to invite Mr. Ted Luckadoo, our town attorney, and Chief Jonas, and Mr. Hingleton, and also our town clerk, Ms. Charlton, in to discuss compensation issue and legal matter. And did I get everybody? Well, there's too many people going to be in our executive session. That room is too small, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And there's not enough chairs either, so, yeah, that won't work. Another issue for our town hall issue, and we can discuss that too in executive session. Do I hear a second? So we have a motion to move into executive session, and there's a second. I will call for a question. Councilmember McIver,
Yes.
Councilmember Prosser,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Spires, and I vote yes, and so council will enter into executive session at 6:50 PM.